The tension between Lil Durk and Quando Rondo has officially hit boiling point. From the moment blood was spilled between Rondo and Durk's camp, it was clear this was heading for a breaking point. Now, a shocking, never-before-seen video has surfaced, showing Lil Durk allegedly attacking Quando Rondo, and it's gone viral in no time. This is the kind of drama that's impossible to ignore. Let's break down what really went down and how it's shaking the game. Lil Durk's attempt to eliminate Quando Rondo. Life as a rapper is wild, isn't it? One minute you're on top of the world, and the next you could be dead or fighting for your life. Okay, maybe I'm being a little dramatic, but honestly, there's some real truth to it. Just look at Quando Rondo. To really understand how it all played out, we need to rewind a little. According to court documents, the events actually began on August 18, 2022, the day before the shooting. OTF members allegedly got tipped off that Quando Rondo was staying at a hotel in Los Angeles. The intel came from a longtime OTF affiliate known in the legal files only as Co-Conspirator 4. And once that information got out, Lil Durk's crew wasted no time. They quickly set their plan in motion. Once they confirmed Quando's location, several OTF members immediately made travel arrangements to California. The group included DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, known as OTF-DD, Asa Houston, OTF Boogie, Keith Jones, Flocka, David Brian Lindsay, Brown Eyes, and another individual identified only as co-conspirator in court documents. These individuals all purchased one-way flights from Chicago to San Diego, a detail investigators later flagged as suspicious. What's particularly incriminating is how these flights were purchased. Federal authorities allege that the tickets were bought using a credit card belonging to Co-Conspirator 3, another individual associated with OTF and Lil Durk. Even more damning, investigators uncovered text messages that appear to show Lil Durk's direct involvement in planning the operation. A phone number believed to belong to Lil Durk sent a text message to Co-Conspirator 3 stating, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." This message strongly suggests awareness of potential legal consequences and an attempt to maintain distance from the plot. As the OTF members traveled to California, OTF-DD reportedly messaged a friend on Instagram saying, "On my way to LA," further establishing their presence in the area at the time of the shooting. Meanwhile, Lil Durk himself was not remaining in Chicago either. According to federal authorities, Lil Durk and another associate identified as OTF Vonnie flew to Los Angeles via private plane on the same day. Upon arrival in Los Angeles, OTF Vonnie allegedly rented and paid for a room at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, California. What's particularly incriminating here is that investigators say he used a credit card in Lil Durk's name to make this reservation. This hotel room subsequently served as a base of operations for Flocka, Brown Eyes, OTF-DD, OTF Boogie, and Co-Conspirator 2. The preparations continued as OTF Vonnie acquired two vehicles, a white BMW from a rental company and a white Infiniti with fake license plates. These vehicles would later be used to follow Quando Rondo around Los Angeles. In another damning piece of evidence, OTF Vonnie was tracked via GPS to a Big 5 sporting goods store where he purchased 4 ski masks using cash. After acquiring these items, OTF Vonnie met with Flocka, Brown Eyes, and Co-Conspirator 2 to provide them with firearms. According to authorities, one of these weapons had been modified to function as a fully automatic machine gun, possibly a Glock with an illegal switch attachment. On August 19, 2022, the day of the shooting, Quando Rondo, his cousin Xavier Robinson, known as Lil Pab, and others left their hotel in Los Angeles and entered a black Cadillac Escalade. Unbeknownst to them, they were being followed by two vehicles. The white BMW, allegedly driven by OTF Vonnie with passengers Flocka, Brown Eyes, and Co-Conspirator 2, and the white Infiniti with fake license plates. What followed was a chilling, hours-long stalking operation, with the two vehicles following Quando's Escalade throughout Los Angeles, waiting for the perfect opportunity to carry out the hit. They followed Quando's car to a marijuana dispensary on Flower Street in downtown Los Angeles, then to a clothing store on Melrose Avenue. Throughout these stops, the assailants didn't make a move, perhaps waiting for a more isolated location or better opportunity. Finally, Quando's Escalade stopped at a mobile gas station across from the Beverly Center shopping mall. As Lil Pab, Quando's cousin, exited the vehicle to pump gas, the attackers saw their opportunity. The Infiniti reportedly parked in an alley behind the gas station for a quick getaway, while the BMW pulled up to the gas station itself. At this point, 3 shooters, Flocka, Brown Eyes, and Co-Conspirator 2, exited the BMW wearing the black ski mask purchased the previous day. As the BMW driven by OTF Vonnie pulled away, the 3 masked individuals approached the Escalade and opened fire, discharging at least 18 rounds at the vehicle. In a cruel twist of fate, the intended target, Quando Rondo, escaped unharmed. Instead, his cousin, Xavier Robinson, Lil Pab, was fatally struck by the gunfire. The shooters then fled the scene, running back to the waiting Infiniti before driving away from the gas station. The aftermath of the shooting was captured in heartbreaking detail by witnesses. Quando Rondo was reportedly devastated, screaming "no, no" after seeing his cousin's body. This traumatic moment would later allegedly be mocked by Lil Durk in song lyrics, according to federal authorities. In a particularly callous detail, approximately 15 minutes after the shooting, OTF Vonnie, Flocka, and OTF DD arrived in the BMW at an In-N-Out burger restaurant. Shortly thereafter, Brown Eyes and co-conspirator 2 arrived at the same location in a black SUV. According to federal investigators, the co-conspirators discussed payments to Flocka and Brown Eyes for carrying out the shooting at this meeting. Quando Rondo himself has spoken about this traumatic experience in interviews, describing it as the most devastating event of his life. In one particularly emotional interview, he reflected on losing his close friend.
Well, you had a situation in LA where you lost your friend, Lil Pap. He actually died in your arms, and you said that that changed you forever.
But bro, that's the main reason I just said that's the main reason.
Do you think that was the most traumatic event you ever went through in your life?
Man, hell yeah, and this why, cause bro, I used to run around and be like, I ain't never got none of them. But I just felt like when nothing never happened to you and yours, and y'all done did all the burning our houses, when somebody come burn your house down and the firefighters don't show up for you, that shit hurt.
A few hours after the shooting, Flocka, Brown Eyes, OTF DD, OTF Boogie, and co-conspirator 2 boarded a flight from San Diego back to Chicago. Again, their one-way tickets were purchased using the credit card belonging to co-conspirator 3. Later, according to federal authorities, OTF-DD paid Flocka and Brown Eyes for their roles in the murder plot. For over 2 years, there was no legal action or public acknowledgement of the plot. The case remained cold until October 2024, when a grand jury returned an indictment against Lil Durk and his associates. The charges were severe and numerous: murder for hire, conspiracy to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and discharge of firearms and a machine gun in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. On October 24, 2024, law enforcement arrested OTF Vonnie, Flocka, Brown Eyes, OTF DD, and OTF Boogie. They also executed multiple search warrants in the Chicago area at locations associated with OTF members. Shortly after making these arrests, the FBI received notifications from U.S. Customs and Border Protection that Lil Durk had booked 2 international flights, a one-way flight from Fort Lauderdale to Switzerland and a one-way flight from Miami to Dubai, both scheduled to depart that same evening. The FBI noted in their report that the United Arab Emirates does not have a bilateral extradition treaty with the United States, suggesting Lil Durk may have been attempting to flee to a country where he could not be returned to face charges. Lil Durk did not board either of these flights. Later that evening, at approximately 6:40 p.m., the FBI received another notification that Lil Durk had been booked as a passenger on a private plane departing Miami for Italy, scheduled to leave around 9 p.m. At 8 p.m., law enforcement arrested Lil Durk as he was attempting to board this private flight. The attempted assassination of Quando Rondo represents one of the most brazen acts of violence in recent hip-hop history. What makes it particularly disturbing is the level of planning and coordination involved. This wasn't a spontaneous act of violence, but rather a calculated hit that had been orchestrated from the highest levels of Lil Durk's organization, according to federal authorities. But why did Lil Durk go to such an extent to ensure that Quando was gone? To understand that, we may have to rewind even further back. November 6, 2020, the date it all started. The story begins at the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia, at approximately 2 a.m. What happened there would set off a chain of events leading to the August 2022 shooting nearly 2 years later. On that night, King Von, a rising Chicago rapper and close associate of Lil Durk, was killed during an altercation that involved Quando Rondo's entourage. Surveillance footage of the incident later went viral, showing the violent confrontation in graphic detail. During the attack, Quando's friend Lil Tim shot and killed King Von. After Von got shot, off-duty police officers opened fire. Lil Tim was shot by the cops. According to Atlanta Police Deputy Chief Timothy Peake, 6 people were shot during the incident and 2 died, including King Von, who was just 26 years old at the time. The relationship between King Von and Lil Durk was deeply personal. Von was signed to Lil Durk's record label Only the Family, OTF, but their connection ran much deeper. They were both from Chicago's O-Block neighborhood and had a brotherhood that transcended business. King Von was not just Durk's artist, he was family. The immediate aftermath of King Von's death was chaotic and emotionally charged. Fans of King Von took to social media with the hashtag #Slide4Von, urging Lil Durk to seek revenge for his friend's murder. This public pressure, combined with Lil Durk's personal grief, created a powder keg of emotion and potential violence. According to federal authorities, it was during this period that Lil Durk allegedly put a bounty on Quando Rondo's life. Using coded language to avoid detection, Durk reportedly made it known within his circle that he would pay handsomely for Quando's assassination. Federal documents state that a witness interviewed by investigators claimed Lil Durk had communicated this bounty to several OTF members. The tension between the camps continued to escalate in the weeks following King Von's death. On November 20th, 2020, Quando Rondo released a song titled "End of Story," which addressed the shooting and claimed self-defense. This musical response was perceived by many as disrespectful to King Von's memory and likely further intensified Lil Durk's desire for revenge. The situation grew even more complicated when rumors began circulating that Lil Durk had purchased tickets to Quando Rondo's upcoming shows in Georgia with the intention of causing trouble. Though these rumors were never confirmed, they led to the cancellation of Quando's performances in Macon and Brunswick, Georgia, scheduled for November 28, 2020. In December 2020, fake screenshots of direct messages allegedly showing Quando Rondo attempting to reconcile with Lil Durk went viral on social media. Quando quickly denied the authenticity of these messages on Instagram, further cementing the hostility between the two camps. The situation took another turn in March 2021 when Timothy Leaks, known as Lil Tim, the individual allegedly responsible for shooting King Von, was released on bond. In response, Lil Reese, a close associate of Lil Durk, made threatening comments during an Instagram live session, suggesting that retaliation was imminent. Adding to the narrative, on April 14, 2021, Quando Rondo gave an in-depth interview with Angela Yee, where he claimed he had been asleep in a car when the confrontation with King Von began. He stated that he was unaware of any prior tension with Von before the altercation. However, this account did little to ease tensions or change Lil Durk's apparent determination to seek revenge. The death of King Von wasn't just a personal loss for Lil Durk, it was also a significant blow to his record label, Only the Family, OTF. Von had been one of the label's rising stars, with his career gaining serious momentum at the time of his death. His loss represented not only emotional trauma, but also a business setback for Durk. According to the federal complaint against Lil Durk, OTF functions as more than just a rap collective. The FBI alleges that it also acts as an association, in fact, of individuals who engage in violence, including murder and assault, at the direction of Lil Durk, and to maintain their status in OTF. This characterization suggests that violence and retaliation might be ingrained in the organization's culture, making a coordinated murder plot less surprising from the perspective of federal investigators. FBI agent Sarah Corcoran has been quoted stating that OTF members engage in violence at Lil Durk's direction to maintain their status within the organization. This alleged organizational structure, with Durk at the top giving orders that are carried out by loyal members, mirrors the type of hierarchy typically associated with organized crime, not music labels. What makes the situation even more disturbing is the allegation that Lil Durk attempted to profit from the violence he orchestrated. According to federal authorities, following the attempted murder of Quando Rondo and the killing of Lil Pab, Lil Durk recorded music that explicitly referenced the aftermath of the shooting. The lyrics allegedly include reference to audio from a news clip taken shortly after Lil Pab's murder, where Quando Rondo can be heard screaming "No, no" after seeing his cousin's body. The lyrics cited by federal prosecutors are chilling in their specificity. The lyrics are as follows: "Told me they got an addy, go got location, go green light, go look at the news and see your son, you screaming no p." A few hours after the shooting, flock of Brown Eyes, OTF Didi, OTF Boogie, and co-conspirator 2 boarded a flight from San Diego to Chicago. Their credit card in the name of co-conspirator 3 was used to pay for the one-way tickets. If the allegations are true, this represents an extraordinary level of callousness. Not only orchestrating a murder, but then mockingly referencing the victim's grieving family in song lyrics. The motive for the hit on Quando Rondo seems clear when examining all available evidence: revenge for King Von's death. U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada has stated explicitly that Lil Durk orchestrated the murder-for-hire plot in retaliation for the killing of King Von. This revenge motive is supported by multiple sources and aligns with the timeline of events following Von's death. What's particularly striking about this case is the length of time between King Von's death in November 2020 and the attempted hit on Quando Rondo in August 2022. This nearly 2-year gap suggests a level of patience and calculation that makes the alleged plot even more disturbing. Rather than an immediate heat-of-the-moment reaction, the federal allegations paint a picture of a long-simmering desire for revenge that was eventually acted upon when the opportunity presented itself. The personal nature of the feud is further illustrated by Quando Rondo's own statements about the impact of the shooting. In interviews, he has described the incident as the most traumatic event of his life, fundamentally changing his outlook. The loss of his cousin Lil Pab, who he described as a close friend who actually died in your arms, left deep emotional scars. In the years following King Von's death, tensions between Quando Rondo and Lil Durk continued to simmer, occasionally flaring up in the form of diss tracks and social media posts. This ongoing animosity provided the backdrop for the August 2022 shooting, creating an environment where violence seemed increasingly inevitable. While the alleged murder plot failed to eliminate its intended target, it did claim the life of an innocent bystander, Saviaya Robinson, Quando's cousin. This tragic outcome has led to additional legal complications for Lil Durk. In February 2025, Andrea Laquila Robinson, the mother of Saviaya Robinson, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Lil Durk, his business manager, and his record label, seeking accountability for her son's death. The feud between Lil Durk and Quando Rondo represents one of the most violent and consequential beefs in recent hip-hop history. What began as tension between artists escalated into a situation where lives were lost and others forever changed. The alleged murder-for-hire plot, if proven in court, would represent an extreme escalation of violence in the industry, moving beyond diss tracks and social media posts to coordinated attempts at murder. The case has attracted significant public interest, with fans and observers debating the ethics and implications of such violence in the music industry. Following Lil Durk's arrest in October 2024, social media users speculated that Quando Rondo had responded with a forgiveness post suggesting, "We didn't get into this music industry to make it just to stay caught up in this street. We all have families and communities counting on us. It's time to leave all that behind." Whether or not this post was aimed at Lil Durk remains unconfirmed, but one thing's for sure, Lil Durk isn't exactly known for forgiving and forgetting, especially after he's been hit. Don't take my word for it. Just ask the folks who have crossed it. Lil Durk's controversial history. The murder-for-hire allegations against Lil Durk didn't emerge from a vacuum. These allegations are part of a troubling pattern of legal issues and controversies that have followed the Chicago rapper throughout his career. Lil Durk's run-ins with the law date back to his early career. In 2009, he was arrested for trespassing, though these charges were eventually dismissed. This relatively minor offense would prove to be just the beginning of his legal troubles. In 2011, Durk faced more serious weapons charges, resulting in a conviction that led to him serving 3 months in jail. This early incarceration experience would become a formative part of his backstory as an artist who had authentic connections to street life. Perhaps one of the most significant legal cases prior to the current murder-for-hire charges came in 2019, when Lil Durk and King Von were both charged with attempted murder in connection with a shooting in Atlanta. The incident allegedly involved a man being shot and robbed outside a popular Atlanta drive-in restaurant. After turning themselves in to authorities, both Durk and Von spent time in jail before being released on bond. Interestingly, these charges were eventually dropped in October 2022, just a few months after the attempted hit on Quando Rondo. The dismissal came after several delays in the case, and some have speculated that this legal victory may have emboldened Durk, potentially contributing to a sense of invulnerability to legal consequences. Beyond these formal charges, Lil Durk has been linked to other controversial incidents and allegations throughout his career. In October 2024, the mother of FBG Duck, another slain Chicago rapper, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Lil Durk and King Von's estate. The lawsuit alleges their involvement in Duck's 2020 shooting death, a case that has already seen 6 men associated with OTF convicted for their roles in the killing. FBG Duck, whose real name was Carlton Weekly, was gunned down in Chicago's upscale Gold Coast neighborhood in August 2020. The lawsuit filed by his mother alleges that Lil Durk and OTF functioned as a criminal enterprise, with violence being an integral part of their operations. While Durk has not been criminally charged in connection with Duck's death, the civil lawsuit adds another layer to the allegations of violence surrounding him and his organization. There are also disturbing connections between Lil Durk and the January 2022 death of Stephon Mack, who was believed to be a leader of the Gangster Disciples. According to reports, authorities suspect Mack's killing was retaliation for his group's alleged involvement in the murder of Durk's brother, D-Thang, in 2021. While Durk has not been formally charged in connection with Mack's death, the pattern of retaliatory violence aligns with the allegations in the Quando Rondo case. Even Durk's music has been controversial in terms of its potential to incite violence. His early hit, L's Anthem, 2012, allegedly fueled tensions between rival Gangster Disciple factions in Chicago, according to some reports. The murder for hire plot against Quando Rondo represents a significant escalation in terms of the severity and coordination of the alleged criminal activity. While previous charges against Durk involved incidents that could potentially be characterized as spontaneous or reactive, the current case alleges a level of premeditation and organizational involvement that is far more serious. According to the federal indictment, Lil Durk formed OTF, Only the Family, around 2010 as an organization that produced and sold hip-hop music from artists primarily from the Chicago area. However, federal authorities allege that OTF functioned as much more than just a record label. In the words of the indictment, OTF also acts as an association, in fact, of individuals who engage in violence, including murder and assault, at the direction of Lil Durk, and to maintain their status in OTF. This characterization of OTF as an organization that uses violence strategically and systematically elevates the allegations against Durk from those of an individual engaging in criminal activity to something closer to the leader of an organized criminal enterprise. FBI statements indicate that the investigation into Durk and OTF was extensive and involved multiple agencies, suggesting that authorities view this case as significant and part of a larger pattern of organizational violence. The current legal proceedings against Lil Durk are particularly serious. Following his arrest on October 24, 2024, Durk was hit with a new 4-count superseding federal indictment on November 7, 2024. In addition to his initial conspiracy charge, he now faces 1 new count of use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and 1 new count of using, carrying, and discharging firearms and a machine gun and possession of such firearms in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. If convicted on these charges, Durk faces a potential life sentence or even the death penalty, underscoring the gravity of the allegations against him. While he has pleaded not guilty and hired prominent defense attorney Drew Findling, known for representing high-profile clients, including former President Donald Trump, the case against him appears substantial. The trial, initially scheduled for January 7, 2025, has been postponed to October 14, 2025, following an agreement between the prosecution and defense. This postponement was granted due to the case's unusual and complex nature. Court documents reveal that the discovery process involves over 230 gigabytes of digital evidence, including recordings and surveillance footage, and more than 20,000 pages of reports concerning murder, violent acts, photographs, witness statements, and medical documents. What makes this case particularly noteworthy is the apparent attempt by Lil Durk to flee the country when he learned of the arrest of his associates. Federal authorities note that Durk booked 3 separate international flights in rapid succession on the day of his arrest, 1 to Switzerland, 1 to Dubai, a country with no extradition treaty with the United States, and finally a private flight to Italy, which he was attempting to board when arrested. This pattern of behavior was interpreted by investigators as a clear attempt to evade prosecution, potentially strengthening the case against him. The complexity of the current case against Lil Durk is compounded by the wide-ranging legal troubles facing him and OTF members. In addition to the federal murder for hire charges, Durk faces a wrongful death lawsuit filed in February 2025 by Andrea Laquila Robinson, the mother of Saviea Robinson, Lul Pab. This civil action names not only Durk but also his business manager and record label, seeking to hold them accountable for Robinson's death. The murder for hire case also involves 5 other individuals associated with OTF, who were arrested and charged in connection with the plot. As U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada emphasized, the collaborative effort of multiple agencies, including the FBI and LAPD, was required to uncover the interstate and multi-jurisdictional nature of the conspiracy. This suggests that authorities view the case not as an isolated incident, but as part of a broader pattern of organized criminal activity. Beyond the legal implications, this case has had profound human impacts. For Quando Rondo, the shooting resulted in the loss of his cousin and close friend, Saviea Robinson. In interviews, Rondo has described holding his dying friend in his arms, calling it the most traumatic event of his life. While the legal process will ultimately determine Lil Durk's guilt or innocence in this specific case, the pattern of allegations and controversies surrounding him raises broader questions about violence in the hip-hop industry and the blurring of lines between artistic expression and real-world actions. The situation is particularly tragic, given that Lil Durk had previously spoken about attempting to distance himself from violence. In a May 2023 interview with the Los Angeles Times, he discussed turning to therapy to cope with the numerous losses he had experienced. This suggests a recognition of the toll that violence had taken on his life and mental health, making the allegations of orchestrating a murder plot all the more troubling. In the meantime, the viral footage that reportedly shows aspects of this violent incident continues to circulate online, though its authenticity remains unverified. What is clear, however, is that the real human suffering behind these events the lost lives, the traumatized survivors, the devastated families extends far beyond what can be captured in viral videos or sensationalized headlines.